Radio Network. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Colorado Avalanche post-game coverage continues now with Between the Pipes. Presented by Safeway. Download the Safeway app and get exclusive grocery offers and perks. Fresh foods, local flavors. Now, let's go Between the Pipes with Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer.
7 seconds to go in the third period. Nurse with it. He'll just skate it backwards, and that will do it. Season series is knotted at 1. Avs won the first one, Oilers the second. Rubber match, game 82 in a week and a half in the Mile High City. Oilers win this one by a final of 6-2.
6-2 is your final from Alberta. The Oilers, 47 shots on goal, second leg of a back-to-back, and a quick turnaround for the Avs. They did not get into their beds at the hotel in Edmonton until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning earlier today. 23 shots on goal for the Avs, but 6 even-strength goals for Edmonton. And Colorado gets walloped in a game in which they do not record double-digit shots in any single period in this game. A game in which they had a 2-1 lead and gave up 5 unanswered goals, not including a goal that happened under 2 minutes to go or 2 minutes into this game. Connor McDavid has a 2-point night. Corey Perry has a goal tonight. Evander Kane has a 2-goal evening. Leon Draisaitl has a 2-assist night. Mikko Rantanen goes out after a hit from Mattias Ekholm. Fine hit, hockey hit, little high, but clean hit, shoulder to shoulder. Maybe a little bit turned, but I'm not going to lose my mind about that. Rantanen, from the words of Jared Bednar, under evaluation, did not return to the game after that Mattias Ekholm hit. But the story tonight, as we welcome you into Between the Pipes here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, presented by Safeway. I'm your host, Alex Ryan-Emmy. You guys know me better as Raj, with Jordan Berg producing the program, and my co-host, my partner, the radio machine, Mark Springer. We start tonight with the main story. And that is an abysmal performance from your starting netminder. Without a doubt, one of the worst starts in the last 5 years from Houston or from Alexander Georgiev. That was pathetic. In no world, I have not been this upset since Ryan Graves threw 2 pucks off of shin pads in overtime, 45 seconds into the overtime period in Game 5 against the Vegas Golden Knights 3 postseasons ago. If you count this year as a postseason, as it's only 15 days away. That was insane. Listen, I understand, and Spring, I will let you get a word in here in a second.
Well, I showed up late, so continue.
I completely understand the first goal. Beautiful tip from Corey Perry. But it starts because Georgiev goes behind the net and is indecisive with the puck and then flubs a backhand to nobody behind himself, resetting offensive possession for Edmonton. A minute and a half into this game. Perry makes a beautiful tip, a minute and 52 seconds in. You're down 1-0. Second leg of a back-to-back. You have to go, crap, now we got to come from behind again? Drouin then scores a beauty. Colton scores a beauty after that to put you up 2-1 with 4 minutes to go in that period. Shot goes wide. You can't beat Connor McDavid to the far side post. I guess I'll give you that one too. Tied 2-2 going into the second. The Mattias Ekholm goal could have been construed as goaltender interference, but all you need to do is put the paddle down to the ice and it doesn't go in. Not a strong enough play from the goaltender there whatsoever. And then in a 3-2 game where you were still in this thing, you were still in this hockey game, on a nothing play, a slap shot from the far side from Ryan McLeod that hits you square in the glove, rebounds in front of you, And Evander Kane just hits his body and goes into the back of the net. And one of the most unacceptable goals in one of the most unacceptable times and circumstances that I have seen this year in the NHL. Put your team down 4-2, and that's the end of the game. It's like dropping a called third strike right down the middle on a fastball. And then the guy scoring it inside the Parker because you threw the ball into the stands in right field. This was a game in which the Avs were not good enough. They were not good enough. They were tired. They were not sharp enough. I didn't expect them to win the hockey game this evening. But they got completely screwed by their starting netminder. And if there isn't a change on Sunday, I'm not the guy who wants to start a rookie goaltender for this club. But if there is not a change on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. against the Dallas Stars with Justus Onanen going in net, I don't know what the organization is doing. Because the last two starts from Alexander Georgiev have been completely unacceptable for a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations. And tonight it hit ahead. I've been the guy who has defended him at every single turn. Tonight was unacceptable.
All right. Here we go. Between the pipes on a Friday night. That's the passion I like right there. Alexander Georgiev was not good tonight. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think he was the main reason that they lost this game. Now, larger picture, who gives them the better chance at winning a Stanley Cup? Like I said, I'll entertain that conversation. Look, Alexander Georgiev, I think, by and large, has been good in his Avs career. He was better last year than he's been this season, though he's had his moments this season. Last season was his first full run as a starting goaltender. Sometimes you can come onto the scene, they haven't seen you as much, and you can have early success. Can you sustain that success here in season number 2? And you'll see this with goaltenders. He's not a true sophomore, but as far as a full-time starter, maybe a little bit of a sophomore slump here. Justus seems to have the juice right now. Just the vibes are better.
Good turn of phrase. The
energy is better. I think everybody feels more comfortable with Justus in net. He's bigger. Georgiev seems to be fighting himself a little bit right now. But look, like I said, I don't think he was the main reason they lost this game. They got completely outplayed. This game is alive at 2-2. The hit on Rantanen absolutely changes the complexion of this game. Because you take him out of the lineup, and now you're moving Lehkonen up to the top line. And boy, did that top line look small with McKinnon, Drouin, and Lehkonen. Now all of a sudden, Duhaime's back up on the second line. We didn't like that when Nichushkin was out. Nichushkin hasn't looked the same in and around the time of this lower body injury. He looked good in the few games where he came off of the player assistance program. He looked good in those few games. And then, I think he might have been dealing with the lower body injury a game or two before he sat out due to injury, because he wasn't as much of a factor. And he was not much of a factor in his return here tonight. It's his first game back as he joined the team on this road trip. So you didn't get that dangerous play from Nichushkin. But yeah, no Rantanen. Now all of a sudden they're shifting lines. They couldn't get anything going offensively.
They couldn't.
The power play was not good. So yes, Alexander Georgiev was bad. I'm not going to make any definitive statements quite yet with 2.5 weeks to go in the season, but I do think that giving a truer look to Justus down the stretch, this might be what the rest of the way is. Dallas might just win the Central. It might be over. Maybe the biggest thing to gain here is, one, keep guys healthy. You can take a hit like Mikko took at any time.
Correct.
But also, goalie competition rest of the way.
I'm fine with it. Listen, again, I have been, and tell me if I'm blowing smoke right now at this point, Spring. I've been Georgiev's biggest supporter the whole season long.
I have supported him a lot as well.
And he had been playing better as of late, up until the last couple of starts, certainly the Nashville game, and definitely as it comes to a head this evening against Edmonton. He had been better as of late. had some good road wins, but continues to give up these early goals a minute in, right? Even the game against Vancouver where you play well, you got scored on 30 seconds into that hockey game before you had to win it, right? That's a 4-3 overtime win. But you got scored on 24 seconds into the game and then 2 minutes and 44 seconds into the game. It's those type of goals that are killing me. I am always, you have your true number one. Do I think right now the ceiling for Alexander Georgiev is higher than Justus Onninen's? Yes. Hence the games against the New York Rangers, right? When he plays against the Rangers, that guy is a Vezina Trophy caliber goaltender. Everyone else, I don't know what it is. It's a mixed bag. You reach into the knapsack full of Jelly Bellies, and sometimes it's Tutti Frutti, and sometimes it's black licorice. Bummer. If you're a black licorice person, you're a psychopath, which is my point here. You just don't know what you're going to get from Georgiev at this point in the season. There have been a few times in which young netminders, rookie netminders, have backstopped a team to a Stanley Cup championship. It happened in the 70s with Ken Dryden, Hall of Famer. It happened in 86 with Patrick Waugh, Hall of Famer. Ron Hextall did it in the 80s with the Philadelphia Flyers, despite losing in the Stanley Cup final to the Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Yari Curry, and the Edmonton Oilers. He won the Conn Smythe that year in a losing effort. It would then happen again with Cam Ward in the Carolina Hurricanes in the early 2000s, I believe the first year after the lockout. We would have to wait until Matt Murray did it in actually 2 separate seasons, because he started a single game in the 2016 Stanley Cup final and then became just one game. So he got his name on the cup and won that as a rookie. Didn't play enough games, was a rookie the following season when Pittsburgh went back-to-back, was actually the starter there, and then Jordan Binnington did it in 2019. We have not seen a rookie netminder do it since then. So there's only been 5 instances since the 70s in which it's happened. That's the reason why I look at the Justus Oninen thing, and for weeks I've been, you can't do this, because historically it doesn't work out for you. But when you have these type of games, it was so clearly deflating to this hockey club. There were 3 unacceptable goals tonight. And you take those away, and it's a 3-2 hockey game. You're right in it. Were the Avs good enough to win tonight? No. I by no stretch of the imagination did they deserve to win the hockey game. But at every turn of the game tonight, Spring, you just looked in the Avs' end, and these weird bounces went in. At some point, you got to make a save. So I'm of the thought process that this is Justus Onninen's net until he gives it up. You know who he is right now? He's Philip Grubauer in Washington. It's your net until you give it up. Washington was ready to win a cup all the way back in, what was that, 2018 when they won it? They won it before St. Louis?
Yes.
2018 is when they won the Stanley Cup championship. Philip Grubauer was the starting netminder game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. He had wrestled that away from Braden Holtby. I'm okay with that happening. Give it to Justus until he gives it up. And if he gives it up in game 1 of the playoffs, that's the way she goes. And it's Georgiev's net again, and hopefully he becomes Braden Holtby. But right now, the leash on Justus Oninen for me is miles long. And I've got Georgiev on a choke chain next to me on my hip, because I don't trust him.
Well, Justus Oninen has shown that he's got a ton of potential in this league. I think right now, you know, Georgiev's just more proven despite his ups and downs. He's just seen more. But in the long term, I do think Justus, has a very, very high ceiling, but probably higher than Georgiev's has been with Colorado. And I have always viewed him as an upside goaltender going back to when he was a good prospect. Look, in this very conference, like, it wouldn't be unprecedented for a 23-year-old goaltender to play well in the playoffs. I mean, when Jake Ottinger was 23 years old, he started 46 regular season games, and when he was 23 years old. Now, he's had some ups and downs since then, but his upside is so high. We've seen him get hot in spurts in the playoffs where he looks incredible. Justus has that potential as, you know, as a homegrown draft pick. In 2018, he's been marinating for a while. He could be ready. He could be more ready than we even realize. So I would love to see him get a look down the stretch, but Georgiev will get starts down the stretch as well. He has every opportunity to claim this job as his own. But I think the door is open now. I think this is going to be. I think we're going to alternate starts the rest of the way. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just go back and forth between one guy unless they do start Eustace on Sunday against Dallas and he looks great, and then maybe you just say, okay, he is the guy.
It's yours until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen, I know I've said it. I've told people that I thought it was crazy to go away from Georgiev. The nature of the goals tonight is what is making me, maybe overreact is the term for me, and I typically don't overreact. I'm normally criticized on the text line and on Twitch for underreacting to Avs losses and inconsistent play. But the nature of the goals this evening, in which, in a game, again, second leg of a back-to-back, really crappy travel. It was a tough night, scheduled loss. But without those goals, and there were 3 incredibly leaky goals this evening, you're in a hockey game. You're right there. You went 5 for 5 against the Edmonton power play. 5 for 5 on the kill. Without those leaky goals, a bounce could possibly go your way. And that's the reason why I look at this and I go, if that happens in a postseason series, in a 2-2 series, you go down 3-2, that's it. That's it. And it's tough to take what you see tonight and extrapolate it to the playoffs starting in 15 days. It's difficult to do that. No one has a crystal ball. But I can't sit here and tell you without a shadow of the doubt that I trust Alexander Georgiev more than a guy who's got 20 starts in his NHL career.
A criticism that I have of the Avs tonight, and it's one that we talked about a lot this season. That being said, though, they've now won 7 out of their last 9 against Edmonton. So Edmonton got one tonight. Congratulations. And also, let's keep in mind that the Avs were on the second night of a back-to-back. I know that they were saving Georgiev for this one, and Nichushkin did not play, so he had fresh legs, but he might still be dealing with something. They were on the second night of a back-to-back. There were legs out there that played just last night, so I'll keep that in mind myself as I lay this criticism out. I mean, they just got out physical tonight, and that's their issue as a team. They got out physicaled in this game. I mean, the Ekholm hit on Rantanen. Look,
yeah, don't let the hit count fool you, right? Colorado had 36 hits to Edmonton's 18, if I'm correct. Do not let that fool you.
Sure. I mean, Matthias Ekholm was great in this game. That's a big dude. Now, okay, the hit on Rantanen, it's a little blindsidey.
A little, but
it's on the side. Mikko just this is the problem. Is really what Mikko needs to do is reverse hit. He needs to see that hit coming and reverse hit. It reminded me, in fact, it was in a very similar position of the Ryan McDonagh and Ross Colton play from the Nashville game.
And the McDonagh hit felt more violent, right?
Mikko had every opportunity to do what McDonagh did to Colton, to Matthias Ekholm right there. But Mikko's, for being 6'4", for being a big dude, he's really not that player. He just completely eats that hit from Ekholm. I don't think he ever sees it coming, but he should see it coming. You need to glance, even if it's last moment, like McDonagh did against Colton. And I know that McDonagh got kicked out of the game for that, but honestly, I think that was reactionary to be like, oh crap, Ross Colton's trying to hit me and take this puck. I really didn't love the ejection of Ryan McDonagh. I think I expressed that after the Nashville game.
You did.
Mikko should have done just that. Because it was a fairly clean hit, but that changes the game. Physical play like that. And then on the Ekholm goal, it's Girard and Walker as your 2 D-men. You're very light. You're very small, and the C's part. They split. Now all of a sudden, Lehkonen is manning up on Ekholm, and he's in because Rantanen's out. And,
from behind.
And Ekholm should not be beating many people. He's a big, slow-footed defenseman, but when Lehkonen is the guy on you, he's able to move through him. Now, the problem for Alexander Georgiev on this play is I don't know if he ever sees the puck. He makes the initial save with his left pad, but because I don't know if he sees the puck, he guides it back kind of towards the middle, towards the slot. He needs to see that and push that to the end boards. When it's a little bit of an unfortunate break, it ends up going off of Lekkonen's skate. But part of that is because Georgiev loses sight of that puck, and then because of that doesn't play it well. Now, again, though, the light lineup, Walker, Girard, Lekkonen as your last line of defense hurts you as well. And then, okay, we'll just go ahead and talk about the Evander Kane goal at the end of the second period. Yeah, you got to glove that shot. And I like the shot from Ryan McLeod, though. There's 2 seconds left in the period. Throw that puck on net.
Never know what's going to happen.
And let's see what happens. And are most goaltenders gloving that puck in that spot?
I'm gloving that puck.
Absolutely. It's sneaky, though.
It was a fast shot. Don't get me wrong.
Those things from tight quarters, if you're off just a tick, boom.
It was in tight quarters. That was from the top of the circle.
And most goaltenders are gloving that. That's bad. I mean, that one right there is absolutely bad. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in the game, that's my big thing. That's why you might hear me overreacting as compared to other shows that you've listened to. Is the situational goals, the situational lapses from Georgiev. That's what's killing me right now. And I think it's what's killing his teammates. Again, the goals that go in at the beginning of a game, a minute and a half into the game, 27 seconds into a game. They go up early against Montreal. 9 seconds later, I know it wasn't Georgiev, right? That was on and at that point, goes in. It's these situational lapses from the goaltending that's killing me right now. More often than not, it's been Georgiev this season, right? Goals at the end of the period, goals at the beginning of the period, goals right after your team scores to tie that thing up and negate what you've just done. And when you're down 3-2 in a game where you have 0 legs, that has to be a 1-goal game going into the break. Granted, if you want me to look across the ice, across the 200 by 85 like I always do to try and find different breakdowns for that play, I can see it. Why is Josh Manson and Val Nichushkin changing there? 7 seconds left in the period. Mm-hmm. Neutral zone. Stay on the ice.
The Avs
you have to get off?
The Avs have control of this puck.
Middlestat forces it to the middle. I can see breakdowns there that happen, but it's an unacceptable goal at an unacceptable time. We could have been talking about a game in which the Avs stole a point in a game that they had no business being in, but as soon as you go down 4-2, toast.
Casey Middlestat had a rough one tonight. -3, 4 of 13 on the draw. And I think we've all just given him benefit of the doubt. Oh, new team, new system. And look, I think long-term, as this continues to grow with him on the Avs, I think it will prove to be a great move. But right now, he has not been insta results over the past week or so like you would maybe like to see from a hot acquisition at the deadline. He's got to get it going. I mean, that second line on paper is very good, and it is not produced at the clip that you would think it could. I mean, it's been Jonathan Drouin and Nathan MacKinnon and a little Mikko Rantanen carrying this team. That second line, for as talented as it is on paper, like Nichushkin's got to get right. Hopefully that lower body's feeling better. Middlestat's got to get going, and hopefully Mikko's...
He's got points in... Does he have a point tonight? No point, right?
No point, -3.
All right, that's not a great game. Well, no one had a great game. All right, so he's had 3 points in his last 6 games. Yeah, it's a little bit underneath what you would expect him to have, but he did start.
He had a big goal in the Rangers game.
He had 5 straight games with points to start his Avalanche career.
Dipped a little bit. Had the big goal in the Rangers game. He scored against Nashville, but they scored 7. It gets lost. Just 1 assist in their last 3 games, a -3 tonight. I'm feeling like Adam Henrique of Edmonton tonight played just as well, if not better, than Middlestat, and they got him for half the price from Anaheim. So, Casey's, I can't be thinking that Adam Henrique is having a better game than
Did they not give up a first for him?
Henrique? They also got Carrick for him, for that pick as well.
That was a first-round pick, though, going the other way.
Either way, I mean, Middlestat was more expensive than Adam Henrique and was more coveted than Adam Henrique.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would agree with the expensive part, right? Like, Byram is certainly more expensive than the first-round pick that was going the other way to the Ducks. But
oh, yeah, Adam
more
Henrique's
coveted around the league?
Adam Henrique's on the back end of his career, just floundering with the Ducks.
I felt like I heard Henrique's name a lot more than Middlestat's name.
Well, because people probably thought that it would be tougher to acquire Casey Middlestat. He's leading the Sabres in points. He's 25 years old. Surely they're going to retain him. Surely they're going to lock up a player like that. But they also have Dylan Cousins and Tage Thompson. There was just a glut there. Adam Henrique is 34 years old. On the come down.
I think
Middlestat's on the come up.
I think he's been a wonderful fit thus far. And obviously the Nichushkin injury has thrown that top six out of flux a little bit, and you've had to rely, as you said, on McKinnon and Drouin, and to a little bit of a lesser extent Rantanen. And we'll see what's going on with his upper body injury, whether it's a head injury, shoulder, but it did look like he was a little bit dazed after that hit. Again, I thought it was a clean hockey hit from Ekholm. Nichushkin being back in the lineup will certainly change that second line. And it'll give you the ability that if someone goes out with an injury, you don't have to worry about having McKinnon play with two smaller body guys in Drouin and Lehkonen. You can throw Nichushkin up on that top line, so you've got a little bit of physicality on that top line, rather than it's just being speed and hopefully guys can feather pucks to each other.
Second night of a back-to-back. Maybe that is to blame for some of this. You know, you get outshot like that. If this is that's not the standard of Avs Oilers.
No.
And you play this game on home ice at Ball 2. It's going to look a little different. 47-23 shots on goal. That reeks of second night of a back-to-back right there. It really does.
Take a quick timeout. We'll get to your calls and texts next. 303-504-0925 is where you can reach us in the Shop Mazda text line. Watch the program, twitch.tv/AltitudeSR on the Safeway Twitch stream. Join G. Bruin, Pants Party, Anne-Marie, Colorado Sports Fanatic, Kem Hem, all of our friends in there, all of our regulars. Late on a Friday evening. Avs fall 6-2. They get drubbed in Edmonton. Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer. It's Altitude.
It takes professional hockey players years of training and dedication to become so skilled at their profession that they make it look easy. The same can be said for the team at Plum Pros Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains. For over 20 years, Plum Pros has been providing Denver with good old-fashioned service, combined with the skill and expertise it takes to make their job look easy. For heating, cooling, plumbing, and drains, call Plum Pros today at 303-430-1911 or go to plumprosinc.com.
After a busy day, take a retreat from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and relax with a good cigar. Hey, it's Mark Mosier. On the patio, there's nothing better than enjoying a good cigar. And right now, save $2.25 when you buy 3 Omar Ortez Original and Maduro cigars at participating smoker-friendly stores. This offer is only available to Smokin' Rewards loyalty customers, so sign up for free today in-store or at sfsmokinrewards.com. Offer ends April 30th, 2024. Kick back with a good stick from Smoker Friendly.
The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Dave. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and t-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping.
Men, this is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Andy Lindahl with my friend Jerry Jones from Colorado Off-Road, and I understand camping is one of your busiest seasons.
Absolutely, Andy. You need to get your vehicle ready, whether it's a fifth wheel hitch, a ball mount, maybe just simply tie downs in the vehicle to tow your equipment and your family. Remember, stop on in and see how we can help you.
Colorado Off-Road is located 3 blocks south of historic downtown Littleton on Prince Street by Arapahoe Community College.
303-761-1264 or cooffroad.com.
Altitude Sports Radio.
You never know what's about to happen in sports.
More Denver sports talk in 60.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Raj. Find your perfect ring just like I did for my wife at the annual bridal event at Hyde Park Jewelers this Saturday and Sunday for 2 days only. Receive 10% off diamonds, 25% off bridal jewelry, including engagement rings, anniversary, and wedding bands. We're even going to have select rings at 75% off. You won't want to miss the incredible selection off diamonds and designer bridal jewelry. Make your appointment today for the bridal event online at HydeParkJewelers.com. The bridal event this Saturday and Sunday at Hyde Park Jewelers in the Cherry Creek Shopping Center.
Hey, this is Brett Kane from my friends at Circa Sports. It's the largest sports book in Las Vegas, and it's available right now in Colorado. It's sports betting the way it should be. Tight money line splits. They strive for everything to be at about -110. There are no betting limits based on your winnings, and they have the best customer service in the game. Start betting like a pro from anywhere in Colorado. So download your new bookie today or visit circasports.com. Any gambling problems, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
Colorado Avalanche Hockey, you're between the pipes. Presented by Safeway on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Altitude 92.5 between the pipes. Alex Ryanemi alongside Mark Springer. Jordan Berg behind the glass today. Avs fall 6-2 to the Edmonton Oilers. Let's head on out to the phone lines. Dan's been waiting patiently on hold. Dan, you're live on 92.5. What you got, man?
I'm kind of wondering if Stanley Cup was getting to Georgie a little bit. Kind of thought he might be falling apart a little bit when he got that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty the other game. I've never heard of a goalie being one of those, but he started to maybe crack a little bit mentally, and I wonder what you do with him because they're kind of stuck with him, and confidence must be low, or the coach is going to bench him or do a alternate or whatever that we're going to do with the 2 goalies. I guess it's a fine line with his ego, and can he really be a bench sitter or a second goalie or whatever after he's been the starter?
Yeah, that's a difficult proposition, Dan. I appreciate the call and the question there. That's part of probably the most difficult thing to do as a head coach in this game is figure out how to get a guy right who clearly isn't right. And are they stuck with him? Yeah, but he's not broken, right? Like, he's not done. He is not completely damaged goods. You've seen really good things out of him since the All-Star break. Like, really, really good stuff. There's just been a couple of awful games mixed in there, including tonight and the one against Nashville. But he's got big-time wins on the road as well mixed in there, too. Big-time 957 save percentages, and even though you lose against the Rangers, he was awesome against New York there. I do, however, think that whether it is pressure or a lack of like mental fortitude, because we've seen him lose his mind, right? He snapped his stick today. He launched a puck into the stands, as Dan talked about that. I think you do have to sit him for a little bit and give Eustace the opportunity to see if he's ready to take the net. And if he's just too young and he's not ready, you go back to Georgiev and you trust him as your number 1. But I think after tonight and after the Nashville game, you can't just keep going back to the well. Something's going on. And as a head coach, as Jared Bednar, you need to do something. And I think the only thing you can do is give it to Annunen and hopefully light a fire.
Yeah, I like his fire, Alexander Georgiev, in one respect, because he's a competitor. So I like that. On the other hand, when you're outwardly emotional like that and can be visibly, like you are visibly frustrated when you let in a goal or whatever happens in front of you, Georgiev wears his emotions on his sleeve. When that's the way you handle your emotions, that can lead to a little bit of a snowball effect on the other hand. So, like I said, I like the fire, but it can be a double-edged sword. You see this with Jordan Binnington. You know, he plays like that. He's had some damn good playoff performances in his career. Say what you want about him. So, look, Alexander Georgiev, he's going to get another start this season. Like, I see no way Eustace gets every start the rest of the way. No matter how well he plays on Sunday, or even if he puts a few together, I don't think they'll play him every start the rest of the way. So Georgiev will likely get at least one other opportunity. I mean, at least, probably. You never know, though, to right his last couple poor outings. Yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about that.
Listen, if you were to ask me right now, if the Avs are hoisting a cup in June, who's the guy that lifts it first with big pillows on his legs? My answer is still probably Alexander Georgiev.
I see it going either way. I think, you know, it depends on how this plays out. I think they both have the potential, actually, and that's a good spot to be in.
It's funny, man. Again, I'm pushing towards a thought process that I don't subscribe to, giving it to an unproven netminder, right? Again, I told you the list of guys who have done it since 1970. Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh, Matt Murray, and Jordan Binnington, also Cam Ward in 2004, right? Two of those guys are Hall of Famers, one of which is all-star level in Jordan Binnington. The other one had a good career, not a great career in Cam Ward. Matt Murray had a flash in the pan, and if you guys know me, I argue that Matt Murray cost the Pittsburgh Penguins at least another cup because they forced the Penguins to get rid of Marc-Andre Fleury, right?
But the point is he did do it in his, you know, he came on the scene out of nowhere.
Right. He came on the scene out of nowhere as a rookie and got it done. More often than not, it doesn't work. But at this point, like I never felt this disgruntled with Kemper or Grubauer. I didn't. I felt uneasy with both of them. I felt as though they were both inconsistent and I didn't know what to think about them. I never felt this incensed.
Just, you know, one thing for me on that rookie goaltender thing, and I like that. I like lists like that. And for me, it's always going to happen again. It will happen again. You never know when, but it will happen again. Like Binnington was the last to do it. He won't be the last.
Right.
Maybe Eustace is, maybe this season, maybe that's just the magic. Maybe that's what will happen. It's obviously not something that will happen every year in the NHL, but it's not by any means unprecedented, and it just takes the right guy on the right team at the right time. And really, I mean, this is the right team. Like, okay,
you're right.
Georgiev, of late, yeah, I don't remember Kemper or Grubauer having it. Maybe it's the emotions of Georgiev too. Maybe he just draws so much more attention to his struggles because he's smashing sticks and flipping pucks into the stands. That can bring more attention to your struggles too. But Eustace,
he just looks the part right now.
He does.
He looks the part. He's big. He's quick to his spots. He's not over pushing like he used to. He just looks the part. Sure, there's a few times where he's off angle, but I didn't trust that out of Onninen before, and I think you put it perfectly. Maybe we just didn't realize he could be ready. And I'll be the first to admit, I told you at the beginning of the season. I told you when he first came up and played his first few games this year, he ain't ready. I'm willing to admit I was wrong on that one. He looks ready. So give it to him. And if he falls flat on his face, you take the net back and you give it to the veteran. Again, look at what the Capitals did in 2018.
Sure.
They gave it to a young Philip Grubauer, who is the reason why the Capitals were seated so high that year. And then he was awful in game one. Gave up a bunch of leaky goals, just like Georgiev did tonight. And what did they do? They yanked the young kid from the net. Peter Laviolette, right?
I believe so, yes.
With the Capitals back then. Yanks Philip Grubauer and throws back in the entrenched Braden Holtby, the veteran, and they go and win a cup.
And Holtby made one of the best saves in Stanley Cup Finals history.
All-time
diving save.
Unbelievable, right? So it could play out in any number of ways, but I hope that Bednar has the guts to do what Laviolette did and sit down the vet until it's time to put him back in.
Mm-hmm. One more thing on this game tonight, too. Another thing that I want to mention about the physicality with the Avs. And while this is a concern for me, it's not enough for me to remove the Avs as my pick to win the cup. Okay, this is just their Achilles heel. And perhaps goaltending is that as well. But after the Ekholm hit on Rantanen, Jack Johnson's on the ice. And Jack Johnson drops the gloves as if he wants to fight with Ekholm. I felt as if, though, Jack Johnson did not want to fight Matthias Ekholm. And he was standing up for Rantanen, but he didn't want to actually fight. Can you remember a Jack Johnson fight on the Avs? I don't remember Jack Johnson fighting. So the Avs, Curtis McDermott's gone. Who fights on this team in a moment like that? Because it sure as hell didn't look like Jack Johnson wanted anything to do with that fight. And it was unfortunate that because he did try to, he gave it the weakest effort, and then he gets called for an instigator penalty, and he has to go to the box. Like, okay, the NHL, they just have to understand that when one of your dudes gets blown up, even if the hit is clean, you're going to go defend your dude and get in the other team's face every single time. So if those hits are going to be allowed, and they probably should be allowed, they've always been allowed, then you just have to understand that someone is going to go get in the face of the guy who laid that hit. So it was very unfortunate that the Avs had to go on the kill in that moment. But, back to my original point, is Josh Manson the fighter? I'm looking at the roster. I don't know who the fighter is.
It's Manson right now.
They have nobody. Landeskog used to fight. He's not around. Logan O'Connor's scrapped. I guess Ross Colton fought O'Connor. I guess Ross could fight. See, they're
he's
not
scrappy, but he's not huge.
They're not that team.
They're not that team. This one from the 475. Kemper, however, faced only 20-ish shots a night. Georgie's been getting pelted this season. Unfortunately, that's just statistically false. Darcy Kemper faced on average 30 shots a night through his regular season games in his final season as an Avs netminder. Alexander Georgiev has faced on average 27.93 shots per game this year. That's just it's false.
Well, and I want to continue with my physicality thing real quick. Look, credit to Matthias Ekholm. He played a very physical game in this one, and the addition of Corey Perry, man. Say what you want about him, but he's that type of player. Edmonton's been trying to address that with their own team. Like, they've missed that in recent years, and they brought that brand tonight. They need that.
Bags.
If they want to win a cup. And the Avs, is anyone on the Avs laying a hit like Ekholm laid on Rantanen? You don't often see this team lay hits that, but they're clean.
Manson.
Josh Manson will.
Bags win cups. Is that season 1 of Between the Pipes?
They're going to have to up that in the playoffs, man. Cale Makar, I think he's been protecting his body in the regular season. He's going to have to throw some hits in the playoffs.
I agree. When's the last time you saw that little reverse hip check that Makar has shown us, right?
We've seen it a lot, but you're right. Of late, we have not.
We haven't. I think it was season 2. You know why? It was because it was after the Tyson Barrie trade. When the Avs got Kadri, I think that's when you coined Bags win cups.
Look, Kadri helped. You got to have that edge to you. You got to. Edmonton had that edge tonight. Good for them.
They certainly did. He's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryanemi. We'll tell you what happened around the NHL on the other side, get you some Bet the Pipes picks, and then send you off to bed late on a Friday night. It's Altitude Sports Radio.
I got a nightmare phone call that no parent wants to receive.
Someone hit me going 60 miles an hour.
Dr. Ramos came highly recommended. When I showed him the x-rays, he immediately knew exactly what was wrong.
We've had a tremendous experience with Ramos Law. Really, I could not be happier.
Having the car accident was an accident. finding Ramos Law was no accident.
Injured in a car accident? Ramos Law can help. RamosLaw.com.
McKinnon! He scores!
Avs faithful, do you want to take the first step in becoming a Colorado Avalanche season ticket member? Memberships are sold out at this time, so the best chance to get one is by placing your deposit and joining the A-List membership waitlist. The A-List membership provides exclusive member benefits, including pre-sale access to playoff tickets. Head to coloradoavalanche.com/waitlist to learn more.
We all love to see a hat trick. Good things come in threes. Oh, yeah. Mo's here this spring. My partners at Rock Plumbing, Heating, and Air will simplify your life with an awesome hat trick. A 3-for-1 special for all new customers. Furnace and air conditioning maintenance with a water heater flush for only $199. That's almost $400 in savings, but it's for a limited time, so you have to book before April 30th. Just go to rockheating.com. That's ROCK heating.com. Rock, bringing comfort home and simplifying your life.
For a true taste of the Midwest, I hope you'll come see us at Wally's Wisconsin Tavern. Hi, this is Francisco. Let's talk comfort food. We do a fish fry every day of the week. We have house-made sausages, and we're known for our fantastic cheese curds, the best on this side of the lake. You'll feel right at home in our friendly, comfortable atmosphere. Come join us for lunch, supper, or a late-night snack. You don't have to be from the Midwest. All you have to be is here at Wally's Wisconsin Tavern.
Next to Rhinehouse on 14th and Market.
Let's go! Dropping 40 pounds of fat. I mean, it sounds impossible, right?
Nope.
I am just a few pounds away from that. I've lost, on average, 3.12 pounds per week on this journey with SOTA weight loss. It's been fantastic. It's so fun. It's exciting. And you know what? It's been easy. I work with a nutritionist, Amanda, and what's incredible is that you get rid of that fat. It's safe. It's effective. There's calories that you can consume, calories that you don't. But when you work together, you have a sense of accomplishment that makes you look good, feel good, get compliments, wear clothes that you haven't worn in forever, or heck, treat yourself, buy new clothes. It's SOTA Weight Loss. Find out details at SOTAweightloss.com. 800-555-6521. SOTA Weight Loss, state of the art.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Watch the show on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/AltitudeSR. Brought to you by Safeway.
College basketball's biggest tournament is here, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips, Circa Sports Colorado. It's sports betting the way it should be. This is Brett Kane. They have high betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Bet on all the props, including the first to 10 for every game. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie today for college basketball's biggest tournament at circasports.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Raj. Find your perfect ring just like I did for my wife at the annual bridal event at Hyde Park Jewelers this Saturday and Sunday for 2 days only. Receive 10% off diamonds, 25% off bridal jewelry, including engagement rings, anniversary, and wedding bands. We're even going to have select rings at 75% off. You won't want to miss the incredible selection off diamonds and designer bridal jewelry. Make your appointment today for the bridal event online at HydeParkJewelers.com. The bridal event this Saturday and Sunday at Hyde Park Jewelers in the Cherry Creek Shopping Center.
KKSC Parker, KKSC FM HD1 Broomfield, KKSC FM HD2 Broomfield, K269 AE Boulder. We are Altitude Sports Radio. Colorado Avalanche Hockey, you're between the pipes. Presented by Safeway on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Between the Pipes, brought to you by Safeway, wrapping up here on a Friday evening. Avs fall 6-2 as part of a 6-game NHL slate this evening. No one-goal game. Actually, sorry, one-goal game this evening as the Rangers scored the lone third-period goal in the power play. Chris Kreider getting the fourth for the Rangers in that one, 4-3. Avs had a 2-1 lead in this one, Spring. Again, they were slow. They were not good enough tonight. Second leg of a back-to-back. These things happen, but they had a lead.
They did.
And then it just went away.
And then it did.
And everything went to crap.
After it was tied at 2, and then the Ekholm hit on Rantanen took Miko out. No update on him. I mean, dude, he was on
Mars.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He came to enough to turn around and yell some English expletives at Ekholm. So maybe that helps.
Okay, that's encouraging.
But he was dazed and confused there, man.
Yeah.
On a clean hit.
Yeah.
Violent game.
And then, one thing I also want to mention about Jack Johnson, who did stand up for Miko, but got hit with an instigator penalty for giving it a C- effort trying to fight. Like, that's unfortunate. At least give it an A+ effort. Nicholas Franco on Twitter shared this note with us. This is from J Fresh Hockey. The Sean Walker-Jack Johnson defensive pairing has a 45% goal and X-goal share in 120 minutes so far. Jack Johnson. Sam Malinsky. Should they just lean into it and just bring Malinsky up and put him with Walker?
Maybe.
And I know that Jack gives you a little more size, but what is he really providing out there right now? He's older. He doesn't move that well.
He should be a true 7.
Malinsky and Walker is smaller, but I think that could get Sean Walker going more like and again, he's like Middlestad, was playing real well there in the win streak, and then ever since that 9-game win streak or whatever it was, and then ever since has dipped a little bit. I can see Malinsky and Walker playing together. They're similar type players. I think they could feed off of each other. And start to create, and I know we're talking about D-men here, but create a little more offensive punch from that back end when they're out there with whoever they are to be out there with. And like I said, just lean into it. You are who you are. You're not a bruising team. You're a speed team. Just lean all the way into it.
I don't hate the idea. Again, I think that's why I gave McFarland and Sakic such praise at the trade deadline, is that they didn't try to go away from who they were. Right? Like,
sure.
they know who the Avs are. The Avs need to outscore their problems. They need to be fast. They need to zip pucks along. And they need to fix the biggest hole in the team, which was second-line center.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't try and go away from who they are. Yep. Right? They didn't add Noah Hannafin onto the blue line.
No, Sean Walker is an Avs-type defenseman.
He is. Actually, I like that a lot. All right, Spring. Bunch of scores throughout the NHL. Told you about the Red Wings and the Rangers, 4-3 for New York. They continue to pace the National Hockey League. Hurricanes double up the Capitals, who have lost 5 straight. Alexander Ovechkin, however, scoring his 28th and 29th of the season. Remember when he just had like 12 goals? It feels like a month ago. Ovi has been on fire. Capitals only managed 16 shots on goal. 2 of Ovi's go in this one. Capitals are falling farther back in the race for that second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. The Sabres get a double-up 4-2 over the Flyers. Flyers have 83 points this year, and they are currently locked into a 3 seed because, well, the NHL doesn't go 1 through 8, which is nuts to me.
Well, I mean, the Caps have lost 5 in a row. Man, they were playing so well. It felt like, really Ovi was just, it was destiny. He'd get in. Maybe they'd be dangerous. Philly has lost 6 in a row. That 3 seed in the Metro combined with the final wild card spot, because Tampa has locked up one of the 2 wild card spots. They have clinched. But that other wild card spot is wide open. Buffalo, with that win over Philly tonight, has, they've kind of put themselves slightly back in the conversation. It's not dead.
They're only 4 points out.
So Buffalo's fighting for that final wild card spot with Detroit, and then with Pittsburgh, who got hot out of nowhere.
6-2-2. They won or went 5-0-2.
Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, and the Islanders all fighting for that final wild card spot and the 3 seed in the Metro. So how that's going to fall with those 2 positions in the East will be that's going to come down to the last day of the season.
Man, it's nuts. There's a 20-point gap between the 2nd seed in the Metro and whoever's going to win the 3rd seed. 20 points.
Yeah.
The goal differentials between these teams, listen to this. Carolina and New York are 55 and 50 in terms of plus goal differential. The New York Islanders, who currently occupy the 3 seed in the Metro, minus 25. The Philadelphia Flyers, who also have 83 points, minus 19. The Washington Capitals, who sit just 1 point out of that 3 seed, minus 40. And they could be a playoff team.
How did the Capitals, they're 36, 30, and 10. It's a solid record for a team that's a minus 40 in goal differential. The Penguins are a plus 4 in goal differential. Those middling Penguins that sold and Sid's all bummed, and they're a plus 4. They've won 3 in a row. They're right back in it.
Man, it's nuts. Coyotes get a 7-4 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights. Congratulations to them. They've got like a $3 billion stadium that's coming their way. So they will stay in the great state of Arizona. 7-4 is the final over Vegas. The only other game tonight, the Seattle Kraken get a 3-1 winner over the Ducks. Shane Wright comes back, scores 2 goals in this game, a tip and a snapshot on the short side. However, the highlight reel goal tonight was the young centerman for Anaheim. Leo Carlsson gets his 10th goal of the season. Former top 3 pick just a couple of seasons ago. What a goal this dude just scored.
I haven't seen the goal. I remember when the last time the Avs played the Ducks, Carlson, it was noticeable.
He ended the shootout. He had the shootout winner.
It was like, wow, no, this kid's going to be good.
Leo Carlsson is legit. All right, Spring, tomorrow's games, if you haven't taken a peek at them, how many games do we have going on tomorrow? 11 on a Saturday. 11 games. Tampa Bay will visit the Pittsburgh Penguins at 1 p.m. We've got a good game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild. Wild are still technically alive, but they need to win out and they need some help. We also get Edmonton in the second leg of a back-to-back against the Calgary Flames is the late game tomorrow. Anything tickle your fancy on a Saturday?
Yeah, loaded slate tomorrow. The one game that was catching my eye is one of the final games of the day. The Kings hosting the Canucks. Good Pacific Division clash there. I'm going to go with the Canucks as slight road underdogs at even money at the old plus 100. I think there will be some concerns about the Canucks in goal tomorrow night, and with this game being in LA, I think people might be down on the Canucks, who I was right about my last BTP pick. I had the over 5.5 in Canucks Knights. The Knights raced them that night. I think the Canucks, much like we saw with Edmonton tonight, losing in Dallas 5-0, that kind of lights a fire under you. I think Vancouver will have a little bit of something to prove, and I think they'll put a clamp on not just the Pacific, which I think they've already done, but I think they're going to get that top seed in the West, and they need to win tomorrow night in LA to get it done. I think the Kings are a little middling and have fallen off of late, so give me the Canucks even money on the road.
You know me, I'm a sucker for an over 5.5 bet. There's a couple of games in the middle of the day tomorrow. 1:30 Florida at Boston, 2:30 Dallas at Chicago. I'm going to take the over 5.5 in both of those games. I think Florida and Boston is going to be a great one, but I see more goals getting scored in that. And even though Jake Ottinger has been stellar, back-to-back shutouts, I think he's due for a couple of goals against. If he gets the start tomorrow, might get the day off. If you parlay both of those 5.5 overs, you will get a payout of plus 231. Those are your picks for tomorrow. Next time that you guys will hear us will be late on Sunday night, an 8 p.m. puck drop. It's the second of a doubleheader, I believe, on ESPN, which means it could be even later.
Sunday Night Baseball before.
Oh, okay. All right.
Before Avs and Stars.
So let's hope that's
Rangers, Astros.
Oh, all right. All right. That's a good baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't be on until 11:30 that night.
Why ESPN decided to put a nightcap after Sunday Night Baseball? I guess because the playoffs are starting. And they're going to, for those awake, I guess on the West Coast mostly, because that's going to be a 10 p.m. puck drop on the East Coast.
Woo!
I guess for the West Coast, it's a little preview of the playoffs there on national television.
Enjoy your Saturday. We will talk to you guys late Sunday night as the Avs return home to take on the Dallas Stars. For Mark Springer, for Jordan Berg, I'm Alex Ryan Nemi. Thanks for listening to Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway.
The NFL Draft, the Nuggets, the Avalanche, the missing quarterback, Denver Sports Talk, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Crazy to think of everything that's happened in the last 25 years, but one thing that's remained as consistent as ever is Plumline Services. From Fort Collins to Castle Rock, Plumline Services has been earning the trust of Coloradans with plum crazy service and pricing on